All right, you little mathematicians. Today we are going to learn how to classify rational numbers. So, of course, the first thing we need to do is talk about what a rational number is. Please write this down in your math notebook, of course. A rational number is any number that can be written as a fraction. Now, that's basically the definition, but just to clarify, we need to make sure that in this fraction, the numerator and the denominator are integers. That is, whole numbers that are either positive or negative, and that the denominator does not equal 0. Here we have a Venn diagram. So as you can see in this Venn diagram, anything that goes in this big red circle is a rational number. Anything that goes in the blue circle is an integer, and anything that goes in the green circle is a whole number. Now what's interesting and what you need to notice about a Venn diagram is that, as you can see, all the whole numbers are inside the rational numbers. So every whole number is both a whole number, an integer, and a rational number. Some examples of whole numbers might be 63 or 2. Whole numbers are just the counting numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, off into infinity. So all whole numbers are within the realm of rational numbers. All whole numbers are rational numbers. Now at this point you might be thinking, hey Mr. Rag, you said that rational numbers have to be numbers that are written as a fraction. But these are whole numbers. These aren't fractions. Well, that's a really good observation. But you are forgetting one important thing, and that is we can write 63 as a fraction. We can just write it 63 over 1. It's kind of a boring fraction, but it's a fraction nonetheless. So whole numbers do count as rational numbers. Now, we also have integers. Integers are also a kind of rational number. So integers, as you can see, have all the whole numbers inside them, but they also have some numbers that aren't whole numbers. For example, negative 46 is an integer, but not a whole number. 0 is an integer, but not a whole number. Negative 1,000,002 is an integer, but not a whole number. So the difference between whole numbers and integers, whole numbers are positive, whole counting numbers. Integers include 0 and all the negative numbers. But there are other kinds of rational numbers too, besides whole numbers and integers. We also have fractions and decimals. And they can be decimals that are short or decimals that are comparatively long. Those are all rational numbers. Now at this point you might be thinking, Mr. Rag, so are you basically just telling me that all numbers are rational numbers? Well, not quite. Because there are certain kinds of numbers that we call irrational, non-rational numbers. So what is an irrational number? An irrational number is a number that cannot be written as a fraction. Another way to think of this is that an irrational number is a decimal that goes on forever with no pattern. It never repeats. So here's an example. Pi, a very famous example. Pi is a number, has to do with circles. You're going to learn all about it in 7th grade. It's super interesting, super cool. Pi is a number that is a decimal, as you can see, and it goes on forever and never repeats. So the beginning of pi is 3.14159265359, and it just keeps on going forever and ever without ever repeating. Pi is an example of an irrational number. Pi, therefore, would not go in our red circle of rational numbers. If we were going to write pi, it would exist out here outside the rational numbers. I know that's a bad drawing of pi. Alright, thank you very much for paying attention. Fill out the Google form and we will see you in class.